pull yourself out, get back on top, stay up top, pull yourself out, get back on top, stay on top. Okay. Hello, everyone. Um, hey, what's up? So, um, this video log, it was, our ancestral fatherland of what I call the central west of Europa. The Mediterranean topography in the central west of Europe dispersed throughout the west into the east and all that, even down south, versus the North Atlantic and the Arctic region. The Italic Peninsula versus the Arctic Peninsula. Simple, very clear. Okay. I don't even believe the Italic Peninsula is around anymore, but still, the point's been made. So I'm in what's now the country called Germany. It's 1990 or 1991. I think it's 1990. And I forget his name, but he was a fellow GI, and I was the supply clerk of an air traffic control battalion. And we had rooms and stayed inside of what were described as World War II barracks. I would walk to the airfield, or I would get in the light lime green van with, I remember him, man. I remember Staff Sergeant Clements. And I would jump in with him, and he would drive us to the airfield. And I would sit in the airfield, and the GCA tower was up top, and and our office was at the bottom, facing the runway. And I remember I shared my office with a much older gentleman, because I was like 19 or 18, and I shared the office with a cigarette smokeaholic, chain smoking former, I think, World War II Air Force pilot of the German Army. He was, I think, like the chief engineer or technician inside of our GCA tower office, ground control, Mr. Schumacher. And I remember him. Just he and I, And anyway, so I forget what his name was. He was a very, very, interesting fellow. He was a multiracial, black, as you know. He would part his afro. He had like, it was parted. It was like that Bobby Brown thing. What Bobby Brown did during the Don't Be Cruel album, right? So he parted his hair to the side like that, and he had a line cut through. He was a smooth dude, man. And he wore these he had these like thick horn rimmed prescribed glasses. And so one day he says to me, hey man, Estrada, hey man, I'm going to Nuremberg, man. You should come with me. I was like, Nuremberg, what's that? He goes, what's that? He goes, you've never heard of Nuremberg? I said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He goes, as in the Nuremberg Stadium? I said, no, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. He said, okay. Well, have you heard of the Nuremberg? Have you heard of like all of the activities there? And I was like, no. He's like, all right, how about this? Get in the car. Let's have fun this weekend. I'm going to take you there. You're going to have a blast. I said, okay. So I got in his car. He had a car, and we drove from Mannheim to Nuremberg. So we get there, and he takes me and parks. It's this open air stadium. And I said, okay, is this the place you're talking about? He says, yeah, man, this is Nuremberg Stadium. I was like, okay. So why am I here again? And he told me what happened there. It was strange, but I was just like, okay. And he's like, yeah, man, like stand there, man. Go walk in the middle of the stadium, man. I was like, you want me to walk to the middle? I said, so I was like, this is a neat stadium. I like how it's open, it's outdoor and open air. It's just open. I said, okay, sure. So I walked to like the center of the stadium. It's a kind of, if I remember, it's odd because it's like it's just an open field. It's outdoor, open field with bleachers, and that's it. It's not a full. It's not a. It's not a circular stadium. It's like I think if I remember, there were only bleachers on one side, and then it's just this an open pathway in a straight line. And I was like, okay. He's like, you never heard about the Nuremberg trials? I said, nope. So he told me that, about the speech and about the Nuremberg trials and everything there. And I was just like, whoa, okay. All right. So he brought me here because of the historical craziness and deflection and denial and insanity and delusion and anger and self-hatred that was incorporated and enforced into life, reality, and history. Okay, I get it. But he really wanted me to go to the stadium. And he just pressed for me to he was just so pressed. He kept pressing me to walk to the center, to walk to a certain part of the stadium. So I did. And I think he took a photo of me. I don't know where that photo is. I don't remember what his name is. And he started dating this girl, and then we like never hung out again. It was very interesting because we spent, I think we were in Nuremberg the entire weekend, if not day. And he took all of these neat photos of me. I have most of the photos. Yeah, so it reminded me of like when I was in Old Town Berchtesgaden in Bavaria, and that lady insisted that I walk out of that shop with the cane, and just stuff like that, Anyway, Jorge Estrada, DC, Mutatio Formulae. It reminds me of like when Ina insisted that I walk down the nave of Saint Michel de Notre Dame in Paris, where Napoleon Bonaparte walked down and enthroned himself the Emperor of France in front of Pope Pius VI. I was 19, she was 26. She spent 20 to 25,000 francs on us. Checked this into a 4-star hotel in the village of Saint Georges, and she insisted I must walk down that nave. And it's interesting because now that I look back, this guy was like, you got to go to the Nuremberg Stadium. You got to go there with me. You got to stand here. You got to stand there. It's the same thing when I was in the tourist shop in Old Town Berchtesgaden. The old lady would just insist that she just was so forceful about me walking out of that store with this glossy, coated, hand-carved wooden cane. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys.